Ask AJ. How much I know that there are times when as I've sit down and had to have conversations, I feel like the big bummer, as I try to explain to people why you can't go from point A to point Z as quickly as you might think. How much does our team have to spend kind of educating our clients on this is what can be done with the kind of data that you have. This is the type of technology we can utilize with what we've got. How much education are we doing on a regular basis on just the fundamental concepts of data analysis, data manipulation, and so on?
Surprisingly more than you think. And that's a really interesting question. And I haven't had that posed to me before in that way, but it touches on a lot of interesting topics that we end up going through. The untold answer to that is you have to figure out how receptive they are and who the business owners are and how offended is one person in the room going to be if you're talking about something related to, calling their baby ugly, basically.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate. This is why that question struck me as interesting. I'm fortunate in that the data that I provide is unique, and the clients have never seen it before because it's a proprietary methodology and some software that collects data and allows me to give them information in a way they've never seen it before. So I always get to educate, which I enjoy. But it's the education and connecting the dots. One of the education points that I always find interesting is the tools that our clients use. A lot of times they either don't turn all the functionality on, or as you said, collect all this information and don't do anything with it. They're just all excited that they had to go upgrade, their cloud storage because they see their limit. I mean, look at me, I've got all this information. That's great. But the education, again, it gets back to that whole consulting thing about you want to share as much information as possible to kind of solve the problem, as long as they're receptive. We have people I speak with that don't have any interest in getting anybody else's opinion on what they're currently doing. They are interested when I talk to them about this new information. But everybody, I'm going to make a blanket statement, and I stand by this, and I've said it to clients before. I feel like and this topic, but on other topics too, but specifically on this topic, I feel like everybody feels that other people know something they don't know.
Yeah.
And they're always kind of fishing a little bit, and it's such a unique, amorphous kind of topic. Everybody feels like the guy on the other across the street knows something they don't know, and it's not necessarily the case. I think they're all thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Well, and we all have perceptions about what our peers maybe are or aren't doing, or the success that they've had. Certainly we've talked in the intelligent automation realm about the frequency of a CEO or COO being at an event and hearing about this tool, and they come back and say, well, we've got to do this now, right? Maybe not knowing whether or not what they're hearing from their peers is completely 100% accurate. But there's, I think for most people, they have this innate sense that there are things that can be revealed to them in the information that they have access to, but they just struggle to figure out how to get that information revealed to them. Right?
You are 100% correct. And that's what's unique about this, because I'm doing customer experience analytics and I'm looking at things using a proprietary method that does show them different things. And oftentimes it does unlock opportunities to use existing data sets because they didn't really understand to point the lens at these specific data sets, turn the prism a little bit and look at it differently. To piggyback on that, I feel like a lot of times and you mentioned the automation space, but I feel like it's this way in just about every kind of business software space. You get sold a fully loaded version of something, and that CEO at the trade show sees the future because everybody's selling the future.
Yeah.
Well, the future is not a fully loaded product. The future is the things you have turned on, the data that's collected, where is it stored? Did you turn the right things on? Did I do I need to sign a longer consulting agreement with the software company, which is their intent anyway?
Yeah.
And it's all of this leads to it all goes back to the same point about these actions and interactions are what are creating these data sets. And it's not always in the best interest of the end goal of what you want to use the data for.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, I think the arms race is to be able to say how much data you have, as opposed to, being able to qualify how much usable data you have, right? It goes back to, so you've got big data, so what, right?
Right.
Just having a bunch doesn't mean you've got anything of substantive value. You probably have something of value, but you don't know, because you used the term noise in it earlier. There's so much noise in what they've got, they don't know what's useful and what's not. Well, Bo, this has been great. Thanks. I appreciate you taking the time to spend with me. And I think that again, one of the things that I continue to try to encourage people to do is, you don't have to be a data scientist. You don't have to be a PhD in statistics or mathematics to have a basic understanding of what you need to do with the data. To your point, then you hire smart people to come in and do that stuff for you. But
Right.
it doesn't take an advanced degree to understand data works in a certain way, and that in order for your data to be most effective, there are certain things you've got to do with it.
Yeah, I would sum it up with the word, you need to be inquisitive. If you're inquisitive, that word in and of itself encompasses how you successfully use your data. That's it.
Yep. Well, thanks, Bo. Thanks, everybody, again for joining. If you have any comments, you got any thoughts on data manipulation, data analysis, please feel free to leave them in comments. And we will see you again very soon. Take care, everybody.